Welcome everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to welcome everyone who is joining us here in the building, as well as those joining us as well virtually at home, in strong support of our community and our congregation, particularly after the events of this week. We're going to start our service on page 6 of our Siddurim, with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei El Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei El Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei El Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seifchem L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei El Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We turn now to page 7 of our Siddurim for a responsive reading. Come, let us welcome Shabbat. Light is the symbol of the divine.
The eternal is my light and my salvation.
Light is the symbol of the divine within us.
The human spirit is the light of the eternal.
Light is the symbol of the divine law.
The mitzvahs and the Torah are light.
Light is the symbol of Israel's mission.
I, the eternal, have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
Page 8 of our Siddurim. We're going to now turn to page 8 of our Siddurim for our Shabbos blessings of the lighting of the candles. I'd like to invite up a volunteer to light our Shabbos candles for today. Would Laura like to do it? She's been voluntold.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadnik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, who makes our lives holy through divine mitzvot and has commanded us to kindle the Shabbat lamp.
Amen.
May the Eternal bless us with Shabbat joy.
Amen.
May the Eternal bless us with Shabbat peace.
Amen.
May the Eternal bless us with Shabbat holiness.
Amen. We're now going to turn to page 6 of our Siddurim for Lechai Dodi. Lechai Dodi Likra Kala Yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechai Dodi Likra Kala Yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Shamor V'Zachor V'Dibor Echad Hishmianu Echad Nuchad Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad Lishem Otiferet V'Litihila Lechai Dodi Likra Kala Yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechai Dodi Likra Kala Yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Likra Shabbat Lehu V'Nelchad Kihi Mekor HaBracha Merosh Mikedem Nesuka Sof Ma'asa V'Machsha Tehila Lechai Dodi Likra Kala Yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekavela lechaitoiti likrakala yara b'nei Shabbat. Nekavela Ori kiva orek kumi Ori shir taveri kavod Adonai alai negila lechaitoiti likrakala yara b'nei Shabbat. Nekavela lechaitoiti likrakala yara b'nei Shabbat. Nekavela. Now we all face the entrance or exit of our building as we welcome in the Shabbos bride. Boi v'shalom aseret ba'ala gam b'simcha u'b'tzola toch emunei am sigula boi kala lechaitoiti likrakala yara b'nei Shabbat. Nekavela lechaitoiti likrakala yara b'nei Shabbat. Nekavela. Remain standing now for the Hatzi Kaddish found on page 11 of our Siddurim. Once again, the Hatzi Kaddish is found on page 11. Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba v'yamadi v'chirutei v'yamlech malchutei v'chad hayechon u'v'yoymechon u'chayei v'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman karib v'yamaru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mivorach Ve'olam olomei almayad yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitzba'ar ve'yitzraman ve'yitnasei ve'yitzladar ve'yitzaleh ve'yitzhalal shemei kurushat brevu le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbecha tavanechem atata mihiran v'alma v'yamaru amen. Turn now to page 12 of our Sidurims for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Page 13 will join together in the English italicized text. Eternal God, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, do not let your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who brings on the evening. Page 14 will join together with the English translation for Avat Olam. With eternal love, you've loved your people, the house of Israel. Torah and commandments, statutes and judgments you've taught us. Therefore, O Eternal our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will discuss your statutes and rejoice in the words of your Torah and your commandments forever. For they are our lives and they lengthen our days, and we will meditate upon them day and night. May you never remove your love from us, forever and ever. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who loves God's people, Israel. Page 15, we join together for the Shema prayer. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated for the V'ahavta on page 16. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzadecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinatan levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitecha b'beitecha u'b'letecha b'derech ושכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לראות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen. Page 17, we will once again join together for a responsive reading. Eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exalt your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares.
Let them beat their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation. Let them study war no more.
You shall not hate another in your heart. You shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Let the stranger be in your midst, you as the native, for you were once strangers in the land of Egypt.
When the house of bondage went forth to freedom, so all be free to sing with joy.
We join together now for Mi Chamocha on page 18. Mi Chamocha Ba'alim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Netar by Kodesh, Nora Teilot Osei Fele. מהחוצך ראו בניך בוקיים לפני משה זה אלי ענו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי קרא אדוני את יעקב ולא מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 19 will join together once again a responsive reading, this time for the translation for Hashkiveinu. Cause us, O eternal our God, to lie down in peace and to awaken us each morning to life renewed with strength. Spread over us the holy shelter of your peace.
Help us to order our lives by your counsel and lead us in the paths of righteousness. Be a shield about us, protecting us from hate and war, from pestilence and sorrow.
Curb also within us the inclination to do evil and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Guard our going out and our coming into life with peace from this time forth. Forever.
Blessed are you, O eternal, whose holy shelter of peace is spread over us, over all God's people of Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Page 20 would join together for Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית עולם בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית עולם. We now rise for the central prayer for the Amidah prayer. Tefillah can be found on page 21 of our Siddurim. Once again, Tefillah prayer is found on page 21 of our Siddurim. Adonai sefatati tahu fi gita hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Limotzeinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hamurah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei HaKol V'zocher Chasei Avot V'imahot U'mevii Geula Livnei B'nechem Leman Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Yizrat Sorah Atah Gibor D'Olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Moshiva Ruach Amarit HaGeshem Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somet Noflim V'Rofei Cholim U'Matzir Asurim Omekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar V'Chamocha B'Hagiverot U'Mito Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh U'Matzliach Yeshua V'Ne'eman Atah L'Hayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shem HaKadosh U'Kashim B'Chol Yom Yahaleluch HaSelah Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We bowed silently until page 29, where we would join together for Oseh Shalom. We're going to now join together for Oseh Shalom on page 29 of our Siddur. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael. V'yameru amen. So we have a unique Shabbat for several reasons here today. It is Veteran Shabbat, and in addition to that, we have had an incident that happened at our synagogue earlier this week. The two incidents that we are marking today is Veterans Day as well as the incident that we had happen earlier this week. They collide in such a way that actually the speaker who we've invited today, Ira Roth, will be able to speak about both veterans and the Jewish War Veterans Association and the work that they're doing in combating instances of bias and hate, and that's very relevant to ourselves right now for where we're sitting here at this exact moment. So this time I'd like to invite up Ira Roth to share with us some words, a little bit about Jewish war veterans and what it is like to be a veteran in the Jewish community at this time.
Good evening. Normally, when I'm involved in anything with the Jewish war veterans, I wear this hat for 53 years. And from what happened yesterday at the temple, yesterday morning, when I found out about it, I spoke to the rabbi, and I got on the phone with some of my people from the Jewish war veterans, the state commander, the past national commander, and told them what happened, and they were in great shock. And they said that I told them I was selling poppies today at ShopRite, and the state commander suggested, because of what's happening, and there have been a couple of incidents, he says, don't wear your hat. Wear a veteran's hat, but don't wear this. So they decided last night that the Jewish war veterans were going to call today the chief of police of Monroe and the mayor of Monroe to put some pressure on them to apprehend the people that did this. And we put up a $500 reward for the apprehension of the perpetrators. This is not the first time that we've been involved in these things, but we know how to take care of it. Many, many years ago at East Brunswick, there's a cemetery called Beth Abraham, and there were gravestones that were overturned. And we went to the chief of police and Mayor Fox of East Brunswick, and we again demanded that we wanted this to be solved. And it was. And we presented a check. My picture is in here, and it was on television on Channel 4. And we wanted the community to know that we're not going to tolerate these things. And so this morning, before I went to sell poppies, and I'm dressed the way I went to sell poppies this morning, which my wife unfortunately says you shouldn't dress like this in temple, but I did, because this is the way I dress for events, and that's what's important to me. So I came here this morning. I wanted to see what it looked like. Fortunately, I came here at 6:30 this morning, and there was a car in the parking lot. It was channel 12. So I got out of my car, and they got out of their car. And the reporter, Tony Caputo, and his photographer asked me what I'm doing here. So I told them who I am, and I wanted to see what was going on. And I was interviewed. I didn't see the interview because I was selling poppies, but a lot of people told me it was on channel 12 this morning, which is based out of Edison, New Jersey. And we wanted the people to know that we're going to pursue this. When I was selling poppies this morning, anybody that came up that had a keeper on, which are many on that part of East Brunswick by Mid-State Mall, a fellow walks up and I said, I want to tell you a story. And I told him what happened here. And he was in shock. So he gave me $100 bill for the Jewish war veterans. And then he says, I'm going to have somebody call the governor's office. And 15 minutes later, the governor of New Jersey was speaking to our rabbi. So the state knows about this, and that's the way we want it. We want everybody to know. So the rabbi had asked me what do the Jewish war veterans do, but besides that, we do a lot of charity work. We do a lot of work with the veterans hospitals. There's two main hospitals in New Jersey, the Lions Veterans Hospital and the Soldiers Home at Menlo Park. And tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're taking 18 veterans from the Lions Hospital to a Princeton-Yale football game. We buy them refreshments. We put a smile on their face. Next Saturday, we're going to Lafayette at Lehigh football game. 2 weeks ago, we donated $2,000 in clothes that was needed by the Veterans Home. And we do this all the time. And we don't look for rewards. We do it because we're doing it for the veterans. And that's what's important to us. So we don't wave any flags. I have a couple of guys that are active with me. And we have our commander from Clearbrook here with us tonight, who was here a couple of weeks ago, and they also do tremendous work for the veterans. And we look after the veterans, and that's what's important. So we play bingo with them, we give out prizes, and a couple of times a year, we go to 5 Somerset Patriot baseball games, we go to 3 college football games, and I already have tickets for 3 college basketball games, including Lafayette playing against Army. So these are the things they look forward to, and we look forward to taking them and doing these things. So that's what we do. Nice to be here. Take care of yourselves.
So I'm just going to share some words now. Many of you were here a couple weeks ago on October 7th, and the subsequent Shabbat that we had from October 7th, marking one of the most devastating dates in Jewish history. 1,400 Israelis being slaughtered over a short period of time. By the time that we had our service, it may have been up to 1,500. So as a result of those incidents and the ensuing several weeks that have followed, there's been a gradual uptick in anti-Semitism and incidents that have been happening at synagogues and reported incidents of bias, as well as vandalisms and other things that have affected our Jewish community. So it's natural for us, in the wake of when we find out of an incident that happens at our synagogue, to feel fear immediately. And I am with you. I experience those same feelings as well. In the complete shock that happened when I happened to enter into the building on that day, I received a text message just first thing in the morning. Actually, it was about 1 a.m. I think the text messages began to be notifying members of the board as well as myself. Now, I was asleep at that time, but early morning I saw the text messages, and it came to me as a complete shock. It came to me as a complete shock because as these several weeks have been leading up to that actual day, I was seeing, as well as all of us were seeing on the news, incidents that were happening in Israel as well as in New York and all over the country, and we probably thought, as well as I thought at that time, that these incidents, these things that are happening, are just sporadically happening, and they were far away. And when something happens at home, it hits close to all of us. At this time, the police are still conducting their investigation as to the motivations, exactly what caused it. At this time, they believe that the chief suspects of the incident seem to be juvenile nature. Regardless to the motivations or what the actual explanation to be of the teenagers or adults or organized individuals should be, its effect on ourselves as a Jewish community remains the same. Incidents like this terrify us, they scare us, and they scare us because exactly where we're standing today. We are aware of what happened just a little bit over 30 days ago. Period of Shoshim has just ended for those individuals who were massacred on October 7th. So we are rightfully so and justifiably so at a period of high, intense feeling and emotion. But I'd like to just share with you, all of you here today, that we're not alone. In the aftermath, in the immediate hours that happened from the incidents that were reported to Monroe Township Police Department, I received phone calls from Monroe Police Department assuring us that they are working on an investigation. I also received a phone call first thing in the morning, before I got to the synagogue, from Mayor Delina. Mayor Delina personally assured me that we will be protected at our synagogue, that he is offering continuous watch of our temple, and that is something that we should find reassurance in. And in the next few hours, I began to receive emails, a flood of emails from people from a wide variety of different backgrounds, members of the Jewish community as well as members from the not-Jewish community. I'm going to read one message that came across from me. It was actually from a representative from the Turkish community that we do interfaith work with here at the temple. And it's from Ahmed Kurluk. It says, "Hi Shmuel, as a Turkish community, we are deeply saddened to hear about the vandalism that happened at Chaim Monroe Township Jewish Center. Our heartfelt sympathies go out to all community members. No place of worship should face such acts. Please know that we stand with you in condemning acts of hate and vandalism. And if there's any way we can offer support, please do not hesitate to reach out. Our thoughts are with you during this challenging time. Warm regards, Ahmed." Ahmed's letter, though, was one of many, many letters that I've received over the past several hours and days in the response of the incident that was reported. I received neighbors who came over, who I'd never met before, knock on the door, and of course, I've been afraid to answer the door. We have the doors locked. They ring the doorbell. Sometimes they come announced, sometimes not. Either way, I open the door, sometimes hesitantly, and then they tell me who they are and tell me that we are not alone here at Chaim, that we're part of a community, part of a neighborhood, and that everyone is doing their part right now to make sure that we're safe and to keep vigilance high. It's reassuring to know that we're not alone here today. From all of these messages, as well as Ira pointed out earlier, there was a community member at one of these, the event that he was at earlier today, who was so kind to reach out to Governor Murphy's office. I received a personal phone call from Governor Murphy earlier today as a result, where he offered his full support for our community during this challenging time, as Jewish communities right now are facing an unprecedented amount of bias incidents as well as incidents of anti-Semitism. But I share this to make you all aware. We're not alone here, and we will not remain alone. And the very presence of all of you here today is a testament to that. In the hours leading up to Shabbat services, I'll be honest, I was a little bit afraid. I didn't know if the incident would scare people away. But looking around here today, I can safely say that isn't the case. And we have the reassurance of the police who are outside patrolling us right now to make sure that we remain safe. So I'd like to thank you all for being part of that and being part of this show of support of our community during this very important time. With those words, I'd like to say thank you. King and your son, may it be God's will. Amen. All right, Liz, I'd like to invite you up now. You have some words to share with our community as well.
Do the announcements now too, or later.
Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good job.
I don't know if any of you are aware, but there is a wonderful, wonderful Jewish Veterans Museum in Washington, D.C. It's free and it is really, really good. In there, they have a wall of honor for Jewish veterans. And I'm going to leave this in the office. I'm going to make copies. For $100, you can get a photograph of your veteran with information about them, and it is to honor them. I also tell you that my father is a Jewish war veteran. He was commander of the Bronx, and he was also vice commander of New York State. All right. Announcements. Saturday, November 11th, Torah study is at 10 a.m. and worship is at 10:30 a.m. Donations for Israel, you can find information on the weekly email. Hanukkah popcorn fundraiser, the form is on our weekly email or in the temple. Mail check and form to office by November 17th. Or you can email it to Lynn Singer and ask to charge your bill to your account. Our Interfaith Thanksgiving service will be held Tuesday, November 21st at 7 o'clock p.m. at Spotswood Reformed Church. We have a very, very special presentation about anti-Semitism on Sunday, November 25th at 2 o'clock p.m. Or is it 1? Is it 1 o'clock or 2? 26, excuse me. It's 1 o'clock. It's at 1 o'clock. We're going to have speakers from the Jewish Federation and a rabbi from the Hillel and Rutgers. You don't want to miss that. The Henry Rickless Holocaust Committee will be meeting here at the temple November 15th at 2 o'clock. This is its first meeting since COVID lockdown, and we have a new home here at the temple, and everyone is invited to attend. We'll be discussing our plans for Yom HaShoah and for International Holocaust Day in January, and we will also be talking about anti-Semitism. Yes?
That November 15th and November 16th.
That's November 15th, and November 26th is our anti-Semitism presentation. They're two separate things.
It's a Wednesday.
It's
This Wednesday.
this Wednesday. Okay. Hanukkah service will be Friday, December 8th at 6:30. More information on the weekly email. Will be an optional Chinese dinner, $18 per adult, $9 for children 7 to 12. New Jersey Devils Jewish Heritage Night will be Thursday, December 15th at 7 o'clock. If you're interested, contact the rabbi by November 15th. There's more information about this on the weekly email. There'll be a book club meeting December 21st at 2 p.m. at Rashi Farber's house. If you are interested, call the office and let them know you're coming. More information about the book club will also be on the weekly email. Avi will be at Monroe Senior Center, that's our cantor, on December 14th at 2 o'clock, and it's open only to members of this senior center. But Sunday, December 17th, he will present his documentary, How Saba Kept Singing, at the Old Bridge Library at 2 o'clock p.m., and that one is open for everyone. Social action information is on our weekly email, especially information about our holiday gift drive. Matt Medium is November 13th, Sisterhood November 14th, Hebrew School November 15th, Gesher November 16th, and Student Shabbat November 18th, and the Bar Mitzvah of Justin Spaulding will be December 9th. Thank you.
Just
Yes.
the dedication of the ark.
You want to talk about that? That wasn't on the information. The dedication of the Ark will be
December 8th.
December 8th at the Hanukkah thing. Okay.
Also wanted to add one more anecdotal mention also. I forgot to mention this, but amongst the phone calls that I received from people and the people who would stop by the temple was one particular phone call that I got which was one of the most touching. So I recently did a bar mitzvah for a family. They have joined our congregation, the Kidnitsky family. They're from a former Soviet Union family, and they joined our congregation. This was really for them their first engagement with Judaism, coming from the former Soviet Union, a very heavily secular community. Their engagement with Judaism in the former Soviet Union was highly restricted as it was illegal, but coming to the United States, the opportunity to express Judaism is something that the community is finally able to do. So the boys' bar mitzvah came recently, and you know, when we finish a bar mitzvah, sometimes I wonder, am I going to see this kid come back into the building again? And well, for the most part, I've been very pleased by the results here. Almost all of the kids have returned. But in this case, I was on the fence. I wasn't really sure one way or the other. And I say that because this was the family's first engagement with the congregation. It was very recent, and given the history of being from the former Soviet Union, heavily secular society, where atheism reigned dominant, I wondered, well, will they remain? So this incident happens, and his bar mitzvah happened only a few weeks prior to. I get a phone call within a few hours of the incident being reported by News 12 or online, or even maybe it was from our Facebook group. And would you believe what he asked he would like to do? He wanted to come and paint the doors, and to make sure that our doors were painted clean. I found it really touching. That's why I shared it with all of you. And Rick, you beat him to it. You already were painting the doors by the time he called. But I said the following. I said, we began painting the doors, but you know what? David is his name. We have something else that we're really lacking here at the temple that I think you would be perfect for. And that is a little bit of technological understanding. We're trying to get the cameras set up and everything, and he, as a young guy, is probably better, more prepared, and better equipped than all of us in this building right now. So he volunteered to come by first today, and then actually there were so many interviews and things going on today. I said, you know, just come by for Shabbat services tomorrow. So he's coming by for Shabbat services tomorrow, and he's going to be helping set up a set of Ring cameras that my mom had gifted because being a Jewish mother, her being so scared about what has happened, she said, that's it, I'm going to get a couple of cameras and you're going to bring them to work. So I'm bringing those Ring cameras, and I'm going to ask, David, can you please set them up? Because personally, it will take me hours. It will take all of us hours, and it will take him probably about 5 to 10 minutes. But the sentiment of David and the phone call that I received was truly heartwarming, and I wanted to share that with all of you today. And may that message ring true for our community and ring true in all of our hearts as a message that we can take from incidents like this, that there is goodness out there, and it will overcome the instances of hate, the instances of vandalism, and any instances that make us feel uncomfortable. The overwhelming love that we feel from others shall eclipse it. Can you hear us on again? Can you hear us on? Our thoughts now turn to the Misha Barak prayer, those in need of healing of mind, body, and or of spirit. I'll be reciting the names that is found on our Misha Barak list. It is this one, I'm sorry, it was very hard to read. After these names have been read aloud, I'd like to ask if there's anyone in our community who'd like to add any names to the list that is read aloud. Today's Misha Barak list includes the following names: Sharon Beckes, Henny Schuster, Mark Rumble, Jared Longmore, Paula Schulman, Marcia Krug, Sarah Simkov Correa, Bernie Friedman, Daniel Estrin, Linda Boone, Jerry Boone, Elaine Blitz, Mashabat Harshal, Daniel Estrin, Sharon Lunchner, Ceci Krillin, Isidore Schiffman, Miriam Mendel Ben Shira, Nachman Ben Malka, Shlomo Leib Ben Malka, Yisrael Reuven Ben Devorah Alka, Alan Lewis, Yvette Zamos, Michael Bergowitz, Susan Scholar, David Rothschild, Lynn Jensberg, Ellen Rosenbaum and Holly Matthews, Jessica Herman, Phil Miller, John Swally, Brian Leibowitz, Stanley Leggett. Are there any additional names anyone would like to have added to the list for today?
Steve and Carol Lichtenstein,
Steve and Carol Lichtenstein,
Dolly and Roger Bloomfield,
Dolly and Roger Bloomfield,
Corky Hockenberry.
Corby Hockenberry,
Diana Silverman,
Diane Silverman,
Diana Silverman,
Diana Silverman,
Karen Gateman,
Karen Gateman,
Bob Goldner,
Bob Goldner,
Arnie Albach,
Arnie Albach,
Isadora Gelb.
Isidore Gelb,
Alan Cooper,
Alan Cooper,
Gabriel Levesque,
Gabriel Levesque,
Alan and Barbara Steinberg.
Alan and Barbara Steinberg,
Michael and Barbara Pollard.
Michael and Barbara Pollock. Yes.
Richie Greenberg.
Richie Greenberg. Okay. So I'd also like to draw attention to at this time members of our military or military also in Israel as well who suffer from the ongoing effects of post-traumatic stress disorder or any effects from war, and may their names and the thoughts of them also be added to our Misha Berak list for today as well. The words to the Misha Berak prayer may be found at the very back of our Siddurim, and we'll join together. Misha Berak Avotenu Mikor Adrecha Le'imotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berak Imotenu Mikor Habrecha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We now rise for the Aleinu prayer found on page 30 of our Siddurim. Aleinu v'shabeach l'adon nakol la'teit g'dola liyotzeh breshit shelo asanu k'giyei aratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo samkelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modin Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim Akadosh Baruch Hu She'unah Tishamayim V'yoseh Haaretz U'moshev Yekaro B'shamayim B'ma'al U'shchina Tuzo V'godei Meroimim U'Eloheinu Einot Eminokenu Efezulato Kakatu V'torato V'yadata Hayom Ve'oshevota Elavebecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'shamayim Ima'al V'yal ha'aretz Mi'isachar Ein Od, page 31. We join together in English. We therefore hope in you, O eternal our God, soon to behold the splendor of your might. Then will false gods vanish from the earth, and the idols will be utterly cut off, to fill the world with the sovereignty of the Almighty. Then will all acclaim you as their God, and forsaking evil turn to you alone. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend, and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, O eternal our God, let them humble themselves to your glorious name, let them give honor. Let all accept the yoke of your dominion, that you may rule over them soon and have For the dominion is yours, and you will rule in glory, as it is written, the eternal will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar v'hayadonai, v'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yihyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Depending on whether or not it is your custom, we will remain standing or you may sit for the Mourner's Kaddish. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 33 of our Siddurim. Before we recite the Mourner's Kaddish, though, I will be reciting names from our Yortzeit list. After the names that have been recited from our Yortzeit list have been read aloud, I will also recite names from our community who have recently passed. If you are observing a Yortzeit or are in the period of Shloshim, please share with us the name of your loved one so that we as one community may pray for the elevation of their neshama to Shamayim above, for their soul to return to heaven. Today's monthly Yortzeit list include the following names: Sidney Sinkoff, Anna Cohen, Bert Farber, Aaron Shapiro, Sophie Nemias, Lee Benner, Anita Khan, Seth Shiner, Helen Martinez, Hilda Kipperman, Lawrence Manziano, Bruce Fleisig, Juliet Rabinowitz, David Goodman, William Offenberg, George Davidoff, Abe Kogan, Louis Fisher, Irving Schwerb, Hyman Bodak, Daniel Rychek, Lillian Raschel, Howard Jacobs, Wilfred Martinez, Sylvia Davidoff, Jesse Schuster, Len Smolin. Are there any additional names anyone is observing a Yortzeit for here today or are in the period of Shloshim for?
Zoe Levinson.
Zoe Levinson,
Ruth Fisher.
Ruth Fisher,
Dee Haberman
Dee Haberman,
and Ross Yates.
Ross Yates,
Joyce Narosky.
Joyce Nurowski,
Sylvia Weiner
Sylvia Weiner,
and Gail Marcus.
Gail Marcus. Any additional names? As this is Veterans Shabbat, we'll also mark all veterans who have passed, either in the line of service or subsequent to. May their memories be for a blessing, as well as the 1,500 now, I believe it is, Israelis who have been killed in the most recent escalation in Israel over this past month. With these memories in mind, we will now turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 33 of our Siddurim. We now turn to page 33 of our Siddurim. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma tivra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yoymechon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yahei shmei rabbah mivorach la'olam olamei almayah. Yitzvarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitzhadar v'yitzhaleh v'yitzhalal shemei dekudushan v'reichu. La'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tush v'chata v'nekamata. Damiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yesh lama rabba min shamaya. V'chaim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'roma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. We're going to now turn to page 34 of our Siddurim for Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yisir Nivra Li'et Nasa L'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shamo Nikra B'yachat Reichi Lo Takol Levado Yimloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני. להמשילו, להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמזרע, והוא אלי, וחי הגואלים. וצור חלי ויסרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי. מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, ביעדו אף רוחי. בעת אישן ביעירה, ועם רוחי גביעתי. אדוני לי ולא היא.